Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the Caiden Cowger program, broadcasting from West Virginia. It is great to have you with us. I tell you, what an exciting weekend I had. On Saturday, I basically opened up for Mike Pence. I was speaking at a rally in Charleston, West Virginia, and they had me to speak there, and I delivered my speech, and as soon as I was about ready to close, all of a sudden Secret Service starts coming in, and they're putting a gate right in between the podium and the crowd. I mean, it was absolutely amazing, and out of nowhere, here comes Mike Pence, Vice President of the United States, speaking right after me. So basically opened up for the Vice President. It was an experience I'll never forget. And I'll talk about it here on the next show tomorrow. So if you guys want to hear about that, you can tune in then. Today I have an interview that I really have been trying to get done for a while. Hunter Avallone is a really great YouTube satirist, and he's a very right of center, a very good guy, and he's had his Twitter account suspended multiple times for promoting conservatism, basically, for expressing conservative views. So we're going to go ahead and get this interview started. I have a very special guest for you. He is a very well-spoken guy that knows how to make liberals mad on YouTube. Hunter Avallone joins us. Hunter, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, tell everybody exactly everything that you do and about your YouTube channel.
I run a YouTube channel where I express my opinions on all sorts of different issues. I'm definitely more conservative, right-wing, but I do try to find the middle ground in some instances. But most of the time, I stand my ground. I stick with my conservative opinions on things. And yeah, that's what I focus on my channel, just expressing my opinion on different things I see happening in society and with politics.
Well, that's absolutely great. We need more of you out there.
Thank you.
So, absolutely. So, one thing that has really caught my attention, and we put an article out on Cowger Nation about it that you drafted, and it's about what's been going on with you and Twitter, because it's been really well known that Twitter has a habit of censoring conservative accounts and conservative people that are engaged in their platform. So tell us everything that's been going on with your suspension on Twitter.
I was I had my main Twitter page, which had about 14-some thousand followers. So I'd built up a good following on there. And I was just tweeting like always, but I started tweeting about that other guy, Riley Dennis, who I'm definitely going to talk a little bit more about. He claims to be transgender. He's really just a dude who grew his hair out and is wearing crappy eyeliner.
Right, yeah.
He is a, quote, transgender author for Everyday Feminism, the really trashy news source about feminist stuff.
So he's a feminist transgender?
He's a man. He basically what Riley Dennis is. We'll talk about Riley Dennis, and I'll let you know what the Twitter is, because the Twitter has everything to do with Riley Dennis.
Okay, yeah.
So Riley Dennis is a, quote, like I said, transgender activist who is an author for Everyday Feminism, which is obviously, as you can imagine, a very crappy feminist news outlet.
Yeah.
He looks like a man, he sounds like a man, he talks like a man, and he has an Adam's apple bigger than mine. And he claims to be a woman, but he's also dating a woman. So basically, he's just a straight guy in drag.
So let me understand this real quick. He's a male lesbian.
Basically, he claims he claims to be lesbian. However, he's clearly a man. He's a man in drag. He's just a straight dude in drag. I mean, he's dating a woman.
So he's dating a woman, and he identifies as a woman.
Yes.
So he would be a male, female, he, she, lesbian. Okay, we got it.
Yeah. As you can imagine, he is extremely confused.
Right. Yeah. Delusion guy. So this is the guy that you decided to go after, and all of a sudden, all this stuff started happening with your YouTube video and your Twitter account, right?
Yeah. So now that I have introduced Riley Dennis, I'll explain what happened with my Twitter. So, I'd already made a video on Riley back in December, and then I decided I was going to make another one because I really wanted to make a big kind of exposed video on this guy because I really disliked him.
Right.
As you can imagine, I mean, he the things he says are just absurd. I'll go into it a little later, though.
Okay.
And so I tweeted out a few things. Like I mentioned, my tweets, if you are an extremely dense person that does not get context or sarcasm, could have maybe been taken as like threatening.
Yeah.
But it was nothing worth a permanent Twitter suspension, even if it was taken as a full-on threat.
Right.
So I tweeted a few things about Riley Dennis, and then I woke up the next morning and my account was suspended. Obviously, I appealed it, and they got back to me, let me know that they would not be giving me account back, and that they suspended it for bullying and harassment.
Right.
So I assumed this is probably about Riley Dennis because I tweeted about Riley Dennis a few times, tweeted like a stupid little selfie, and then went to bed. So most of my tweets were about Riley. So I was like, I'm sad, but it could be worse. I still have my Instagram, my Twitter, everything else. So I'll just start a new Twitter account, whatever. So I started a new Twitter, and I promoted it in a video I made that day. And then I think it took all but like 2 days for that one to be suspended. And I also tweeted about Riley Dennis in that one with that Twitter account, which some people would probably say, just leave Riley alone. But for me, I'm like, I'm not going to be silenced by tweeting about this guy. And what I was tweeting on my second Twitter, I was kind of like poking fun at him.
Right.
I found a photo of what he looked like before he, quote, transitioned, all basically just grew his hair out.
Before and after photo. There you go.
Yeah. And I said like before and after becoming a social justice warrior. I mean, it was a funny little joke.
Right. Yeah.
It was nothing I said could be taken as threatening or anything like that. But sure enough, that account was then suspended as well. And Twitter claimed, Twitter claimed I was suspended for creating another account to avoid the suspension or something. So it was really interesting because I had another account. It was called Honest Bear. It was for this stupid little stuffed bear that I show in my videos. It's like a cringy joke.
Right.
But that account was also suspended.
So they suspended. Let me get this right. They suspended the account of your teddy bear.
Literally, yes.
Okay.
I created an account that was intentionally meant to be like sort of cringy.
Yeah.
Because I have like this cringy teddy bear that tells you the truth no matter how harsh it is, and like says like kind of harsh things.
Sketch thing.
Yeah, it's a little sketch. It's a joke, but that account was suspended also. So I kind of think they just suspended every account that was created with my IP address.
Yeah.
And so it got really weird because I tried to make a third account because I was like, oh well, I was just gonna make a third one. And what I did that time is I used a completely different name, and I also used my friend's phone number, so there was no connection to me.
Right.
But as soon as I finished making it, I got a message that account was suspended.
Really?
So, and I don't even understand how they figured out it was me because I didn't even create it on my Wi-Fi. I was in the vet with my dog. So
apparently they've banned any use of the name Hunter Avalon.
Well, no, what I'm saying is I used a different name.
You used a different name.
Yeah, I used a completely different name, and I used my friend's phone number, and they still somehow knew it was me, and the account was instantly suspended.
That's weird.
So then what happened was a fan made a third account for me and handed over access to me.
Right.
And so that's just kind of where what I was using then.
Mm-hmm.
And I also did tweet Riley Dennis on that account because, as you know, I'm not going to shut up about it. And at this point, I was tweeting out a lot of articles. I was exposing a lot of things having to do with him in censorship.
Right.
And I was sharing a link to a website that I created and hosted on a private server that I have a login to.
Yeah.
So that so that Riley Dennis is unable to get it taken down.
That's good.
Because after my second Twitter account was suspended, a few days later, both my YouTube videos that I'd created on Riley Dennis were taken down for bullying and harassment. And so I was angry. So I posted about it on Instagram and I said, oh man, I'm so mad at Riley Dennis. He got my videos taken down. And it wasn't like I was going harsh or
right.
It wasn't like I sent death threats or something horrible. Like I don't condone violence or anything on my account.
Right.
And then the next morning that Instagram post was removed. Like
so,
any mention of this Riley Dennis guy, and you'll get taken down. It's crazy.
And that's the thing. Hasn't this Riley Dennis, which I did some research on him. His original name was Justin, right? Right.
Yeah, Justin Dennis. And I was actually thinking about just calling him Justin Dennis throughout the rest of this video because I don't respect his pronouns. I don't respect his quote transition because he is not attempting to transition. Like I know trans people that are going through like the necessary steps. Like they're taking hormones, they're working on changing. So, I mean, I respect people's pronouns to that degree. I'm like, if you're working to change, I might not necessarily agree with it 100%, but if you feel that's right for your life, do whatever you want. It's a free country, and I will respect you because you're a person.
Right.
But when someone like Riley Dennis, who looks, like I already said, looks and talks like a man, obviously is a man, and he's not going through any steps to even transition. He just wants to be called a girl for no reason. I'm not going to respect that. The guy's an idiot.
And the thing I'm looking at here, I mean, this guy's talked about other people too. So, I mean,
Riley Dennis?
Yeah, Riley Dennis. So the question that I have is that why is he able to fully be able to express his beliefs, but anybody who offers any ounce of opposition against him is somehow flagged for hate speech?
Exactly. No, that's an excellent point, because at first I thought maybe it was just me, but I don't know if you know the YouTuber Leafy is here. He's really huge, has like 4 million subscribers.
Yeah.
And he makes fun of everyone on his channel.
Right.
I mean, he makes fun of, it doesn't matter who you are, he'll make fun of you.
Right.
And so he made a video on Riley Dennis. Sure enough, less than 24 hours, his video was taken down.
That's insane. See,
so it's like so Leafy is here, huge YouTuber, can make fun of everybody, but the moment he makes fun of Riley Dennis, that's just too far. I mean, give me a break.
It's insane. And that's what I mean. Like, there have been plenty of YouTubers that have criticized me, okay? Made fun of me, made videos mocking me and stuff like that personally.
Same here.
Same with you. And, you know, these guys can say whatever the heck they want about us, and nothing happens to them. But as soon as you or I say something, immediately the video is flagged.
Exactly.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It's censoring conservative speech and any opposition of liberalism or SJWs or feminists or transgender people, whatever you call them. It's crazy. Yeah. It's
and I mean, and just to be fair, I mean, in my videos about him, I did use some pretty harsh language towards him.
Yeah.
And I'll mention a little bit for the people who are going to watch this as to why this guy is such an idiot. I mean, it's not. First off, I want to be clear that I'm not going after Riley Dennis because he is transgender. I don't respect his quote transgenderism, whatever, because he's not a transgender. He's not a girl. He's just a man in drag who's extremely confused. But it's not like I see a trans person and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go attack them because they're trans.
Right.
I went after him because he was making absolutely insane claims, basically saying, if you don't date a transgender person, then you're a bigot. That was one of his videos he talks about.
It's insane.
And another one, it's like, sorry, I'm a straight man. I don't really like penises. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then same for this recent response video I did. He actually made a video talking about why gay people, basically saying gay people and LGBT people should be accepting of Muslims.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, you have no idea what Islam does to people like you, Riley.
They tie you to a chair and they throw you off a building. That's the
exactly. And I'm really sad that my video got taken down. Also because, although like I called him a few names, but again, I call almost everyone names in my video, and I use harsh language towards almost everyone. So it's not like, but I spent a long time debunking his claims, because the one thing Riley Dennis does well, that he does a little better than other SJWs, is he actually does use some decent research to the point that it calls for a better response than someone just saying you're dumb and then moving on. Like, I actually did have to put some research into this, find out, like, do some legitimate research to prove his claims wrong.
Right, you have to debunk
which
his
I
claims,
did. Yeah, like, I mean, he made decent enough claims that I was like, that's actually kind of an interesting point. Let me look on Google and see about this. But I mean, it took all of 5 minutes to debunk it. But still, I mean, like, he presented some decent enough arguments that, I mean, I like to have a bit of a challenge, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was a shame that it got taken down, because I stayed up really late actually writing that one up and doing a lot of research. And I mean, all name calling aside, his points were buried in the ground when I got done with them. I mean, I completely wrecked every claim he made. I was really proud of myself for it, so I'm kind of bummed that it got taken down, but it is what it is. I mean,
all right, Hunter, sit tight. We have a hard break. We'll be right back after
Fighting liberalism one lie at a time.
You're listening to Caiden Cowger on the WCNR News Network.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
How would you love to use a software that can boost startups and growth? You can get more customers, sell more, spend less, and understand accounting language with this ultimate all-in-one inbound marketing and management software for your small business. Join the crowdfunding campaign. Just visit appy.la and see why this program is a must. For just $97, you can get lifetime access to our complete business software. Join today at appy.la. That's appy.la.
It safely eliminates stress and anxiety. It makes commuting, driving your kids around, or driving a truck more fun. It makes gift shopping easier. It's Happy Driving Stress Reduction, a revolutionary patent-pending tool that works while you drive. Find Happy Driving Stress Reduction on iTunes, Amazon, or Google Play. Make life easier. Buy Happy Driving Stress Reduction today.
Go get your copy of Prelude to World War III, The Rise of Islamic Republic and the Rebirth of America. World War III Series Volume 1, available in paperback and Kindle edition on Amazon by the authors James Rozone and Miranda Watson. By the 2020s, America was no longer a world superpower. The military had been cut to a bare-bones level, and while the U.S. was focused internally, the door opened for new powers to emerge on the world stage. In the wake of this power vacuum, China.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas.
For your free inventor's information, call 1-800-441-7922. That's 1-800-441-7922.
Goldman Sachs and HSBC recently purchased 7.1 tons of physical gold. What do these bankers and mega money managers know that you don't? They're expecting the value of gold and silver to increase. That's why you need our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group offers gold and silver for direct delivery and will not be undersold. Call now. Call 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group is a company that deals with investing in precious metals such as gold and silver. They've been in business for over a decade and have an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They've been featured on Fox News, Market Watch, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Reuters, Fox Business, Financial Times, and Forbes magazine. If you're interested, you can call at 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. They also offer various ebooks on investing in gold, such as the Definitive Gold Guide. So once again, if you're interested, you can call 1-800-932-4108. That's 1-800-932-4108. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends at the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja is a company that specializes in slashing debt. They deal with various debt problems such as tax debt, debt settlement, debt consolidation, student loan debt, credit repair services, and bankruptcy. That is 1-800-826-1132. Now, their company, the Debt Ninja, operates on a national level and have worked to fight the IRS for many of their clients. If you're interested, you can call at 1-800-826-1132. That is 1-800-826-1132. Once again, that is 1-800-826-1132. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, American Auto Protection has announced an extended service plan that is now available to the general public. This plan reduces the cost of auto repair expenses. Maximum Car Care was created to assist qualifying car owners with lowering repair bills of cars under 130,000 miles and under 12 years old. Maximum Car Care works to limit the expense of auto repair bills, roadside assistance, rental coverage, and towing. Their number is 1-800-824-9762. That is 1-800-824-9762. Once again, that is 1-800-824-9762. Maximum Car Care is a proud sponsor of the Caiden Cowger program.
You're listening to the WCNR News Network.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so welcome back. We're talking with right of center YouTube satirist Hunter Avalon. And I'll tell you, and Hunter, this is one of the things that, really gets me about this, right? Because, the whole LGBT thing. We were told with same-sex marriage and stuff like that we've got to accept it because they said they were born this way, okay? Well, now we're being told with the transgender issue, which is part of the LGBT, that we have to accept them because they are not born that way. It's the exact reversal of the argument that they've been telling us for all these years. And the thing that gets me is
that's a really good point. I actually never thought it that way.
It's the truth. It's the exact opposite of their argument that they were just telling us a few years ago. So you think about this, and then you hear, Justin Dennis, Riley Dennis, whatever you call him.
Justin is fine.
Now coming out, I'll call him Justin, all right? But
yeah.
You have Justin that's now coming out, embracing his delusion. Liberals are telling us that we have to confirm people in their delusion rather than, telling them, no, you were born a guy, no, you were born a girl, whatever, the original birth. We're being told we have to completely, overlook that. And
I mean, my whole stance on the whole transgender issue is constantly changing just because I'm learning new things.
Right.
I mean, the way I see it is the thing is I don't really care all that much anymore.
Right.
So if someone is a man and believes he's a woman and wants to actually go through surgery, like I said, and take hormones and actually take the steps that he feels best to transition, because, like a lot of transgender people do struggle with, gender dysphoria, which is a confirmed mental illness.
Right.
And a lot of them believe that transitioning is the way to cure that. So maybe I agree, maybe I don't. Like I said, I don't really care all that much. But do what you want to do. Like I said, it's a free country.
Right. Well,
but yeah, Riley Dennis, Justin Dennis, is living a full-on delusion.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
He's a man. And he's more muscular than I am.
Well, Hunter, and let me give you an example of this. All right, both you and I were born male. Okay, we were born male. We've never known anything other than living in a male's body. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this. How can somebody who has never known anything more than living in a male's body can feel like they're a woman when they have absolutely no inclination biologically, scientifically, of how a woman feels?
No, that's true. And like I said, I haven't looked too deep into the studies here, so correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, I don't want to say anything that's misleading.
Right, of course.
However, I do believe there are like some studies that show, I don't know if you've looked into any of the studies that show the brain, like the transgender brain is different or something. Yeah. But I would argue that most transgender people have a mental illness. However, that mental illness is gender dysphoria.
Right.
A good point that I've seen made multiple times, specifically by like Ben Shapiro, is look at the high suicide rates in the trans community.
Right.
That's not all because of bullying. There's something else wrong there.
And I gotta say, and I look at it this way too, though. Because like talking about the brain and stuff like that, if it were significant pertaining to like their gender and all that, wouldn't you be able to make comparisons of the brain like pertaining to females and stuff like that? And I mean, with the female biological specifics.
Well,
but,
you'd have to look. I'd have to look deeper.
I'd have to look into that too, pertaining to that particular thing, because I'm not fully familiar with it. But I was just gonna say. Right.
Depending on what the study says,
right,
that also is a bit of a contradiction, because one second you're told transgender people have a different brain, which is, science, solid biology, things like that. But at the same time, gender is supposed to be a social construct. So which one is it?
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's just so messed up. But see, that's the thing that we're living.
What it is whatever they want goes. Whatever they want, that's the right way to go.
Right. And that's really the direction that we're going in, where we have all these various delusions. Because I mean, it was a John Hopkins professor it was a psychiatrist, that world-renowned, that made the remark that how he views it is being a superstitious belief that a man can be trapped inside of the body of a woman or vice versa, like screaming to get out. It's almost where they get this idea that they begin to build upon and they begin to influence, and it comes over a period of time, and then they just completely embrace it. And the problem is that, I mean, it's just like I've said this before, and it's funny, but I feel like a dog. My mom doesn't take me to the vet. I mean, it's really quite honestly, it's delusional to think that you're something when you're not. And when we were growing up, I don't know if you were told this way, but we were always told, accept who you are. Well, here, this is an entire philosophy based upon trying to be something that you're not and trying to adapt to that type of vision that you, biologically want to have, but you can't have because it's not reality. It's an abstention from reality. And I think that's what a lot of them deal with.
It's such a shame also because our society feeds these people's delusions. So again, when I see Riley Dennis, Justin Dennis, I do not think of him as a transgender person. I don't know if you know who Blair White is. She's a conservative transgender person, and
okay.
Is she again? She's going through the process. She passes as a woman. When I first saw her, I didn't even know she was trans. I just thought she was a woman.
Yeah,
that to me is a transgender person, someone who's making the effort.
But he shouldn't even be identifying as that. Is what you're saying? Well, no, I'm just saying people like Riley Dennis are called trans trenders because they don't represent the true transgender community. Really? Yeah.
Because I don't know, like I said, my whole view on that thing is kind of changing and adapting, especially as I'm getting to know people who are trans and things like that, and I'm starting to learn more with what goes on in the brain and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the issue is that we have real transgender people that legitimately have gender dysphoria and they think this is the best process for their life. And so they're going through the necessary means. Cool. And they even are passing as the opposite sex and gender, whatever.
Right.
But then you have people like Riley Dennis who abuses this kind of society of acceptance sort of thing.
Right.
And, he grows his hair out and puts on this crap looking eyeliner and he's like, hey everyone, I'm a girl.
Right.
And then you better all respect me or you're getting flagged.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, it goes back to what we were saying pertaining to the bathroom argument too, because I mean, you can just all of a sudden identify as a girl, put on a wig or put on eyeliner and walk into a girl's restroom. I mean,
of course. I mean, that's the issue. What makes you a girl?
Right.
That's why they argue. They're oh, it's a social construct. Well, if it was really a social construct, why is there only a tiny minority of people jumping from gender to gender all over the place?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And see, that's one of the things. I mean, even pertaining to the neurological issues of it, which I'm definitely going to have to look into myself. But the thing is that this. When it's only concerning such an extraordinarily small amount of people, is it something that should be normalized? Is it something that, okay, you can be whatever you want to be, son, including a girl? I don't believe that. And the thing is, when we look at all this, biologically speaking, genetically speaking, I mean, there's different types of, stream irregularities that can happen, where, you can be born with an XXY chromosome and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, they are recognized as being part of the male gender, but there are other characteristics that are on those chromosomes that can also be looked upon through genetic testing and things of that nature. Do
you mean are you kind of referring to intersex people?
Yeah, where you're born.
Oh yeah,
with,
I hate that argument when you say there's only two genders. They're like, what about intersex?
Right.
Intersex is a birth defect. That's not a third gender.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing that I'm talking about. Because there's a specific type of condition that you can be born with where you have an XXY chromosome. And they say, well, what do you do in circumstances like that? Well, that's an extremely rare circumstance. But the thing is that they can go in and they can do genetic testing to determine on if that baby was supposed to be born a male or female. All right, that's the day and age that we live in.
And even intersex people are actually born with a penis and a vagina.
Right. That's
even
what I'm referring to.
Yeah, even people like that. I mean, it's one. Either the penis or the vagina.
But see,
one of them is not really working very well.
Right.
It's not like you have two sets of working.
Right. And see,
I mean,
that's the thing. When they are born that way, they do genetic testing to determine how they were actually supposed to be born, but it's very rare. But there's genetic testing that takes place to determine that. All right, guys, we're coming up on another break. We'll be right back after this.
Some say he's the next Rush Limbaugh.
I tell you, this kid's got 90% of Rush's venom with only 10% of the biomass.
You're listening to Caiden Cowger on the WCNR News Network.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
You always want to look your best, but you don't always have time to deal with a necktie that won't cooperate. That's where we come in. Introducing the Never Tie, the only necktie that you never have to tie. Each Never Tie comes with a tie and 2 removable knots that you simply slide on and adjust for your comfort, giving you the perfect look every time. Choose from over 20 stylish designs at thenevertie.com. Enter promo code RADIO1 for discount.
It safely eliminates stress and anxiety. It makes commuting, driving your kids around, or driving a truck more fun. It makes gift shopping easier. It's Happy Driving Stress Reduction, a revolutionary patent-pending tool that works while you drive. Find Happy Driving Stress Reduction on iTunes, Amazon, or Google Play. Make life easier. Buy Happy Driving Stress Reduction today.
Go get your copy of Prelude to World War III, The Rise of Islamic Republic and the Rebirth of America. World War III Series Volume 1, available in paperback and Kindle edition on Amazon by the authors James Rozone and Miranda Watson. By the 2020s, America was no longer a world superpower. The military had been cut to a bare-bones level, and while the U.S. was focused internally, the door opened for new powers to emerge on the world stage. In the wake of this power vacuum, China...
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas.
For your free inventor's information, call 1-800-441-7922. That's 1-800-441-7922.
Goldman Sachs and HSBC recently purchased 7.1 tons of physical gold. What do these bankers and mega money managers know that you don't? They're expecting the value of gold and silver to increase. That's why you need our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group offers gold and silver for direct delivery and will not be undersold. Call now. Call 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group is a company that deals with investing in precious metals such as gold and silver. They've been in business for over a decade and have an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They've been featured on Fox News, Market Watch, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Reuters, Fox Business, Financial Times, and Forbes magazine. If you're interested, you can call at 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. They also offer various ebooks on investing in gold, such as the Definitive Gold Guide. So once again, if you're interested, you can call 1-800-932-4108. That's 1-800-932-4108. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends at the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja is a company that specializes in slashing debt. They deal with various debt problems such as tax debt, debt settlement, debt consolidation, student loan debt, credit repair services, and bankruptcy. That is 1-800-826-1132. Now, their company, the Debt Ninja, operates on a national level and have worked to fight the IRS for many of their clients. If you're interested, you can call at 1-800-826-1132. That is 1-800-826-1132. Once again, that is 1-800-826-1132. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, American Auto Protection has announced an extended service plan that is now available to the general public. This plan reduces the cost of auto repair expenses. Maximum Car Care was created to assist qualifying car owners with lowering repair bills of cars under 130,000 miles and under 12 years old. Maximum Car Care works to limit the expense of auto repair bills, roadside assistance, rental coverage, and towing. Their number is 1-800-824-9762. That is 1-800-824-9762. Once again, that is 1-800-824-9762. Maximum Car Care is a proud sponsor of the Caiden Cowger program.
You're listening to the WCNR News Network, where America.
All right, guys, welcome back.
comes
We're
to
here with
talk.
Hunter Avalone,
Caiden Cowger.
YouTube satirist.
Somebody had to say it.
We're talking about, here in that argument, we're talking about a birth defect. We're not talking about someone that's born in XY and is identifying as an XX. Okay? A completely separate, discussion that we would have to take place with that. But,
Exactly.
But really, the way that I'm looking at this issue in particular, Hunter, and I'll be honest with you, is that, I really see how people have this type of mentality where it's all emotionalism. Reality doesn't matter. It's an abstention from reality that takes place on multiple issues more than this one, to where people feel that they can, completely defy reality and create their own substitution for that. And that's what I think that this
you're
this
exactly
transgender
right.
issue is. And of course, you look at all this information that comes out pertaining to it. Some of it I even have to tell you, you've got to be careful of, because, these a lot of these organizations are biased, favoring one side over the other too. And they have they have all to gain by providing information, that would favor the side of liberalism, because that's the side that tends to embrace it the most. Because, see, here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you this too. You think about this from the liberal side for a second. All right, you have the liberal left that for years has been telling us, by coming up with these psychological association type of studies pertaining to LGBTs as to why, or pertaining to people who practice homosexuality, as being born that way. So they say, well, anyone who opposes this is not on the side of science. Even though there has not been any gay gene found or anything of that nature, they get these psychological associations to say, well, sorry about that. We believe that they're born that way. Don't have a lot of evidence to suggest that. However, this is our educated opinion, is how they present it. Well, that's the born this way philosophy. Well, now they have the transgender issue that's the complete exact opposite of that. They're not born this way. So what they've got to do now is come up with scientific studies to appear to the American people and to appear to others as being scientifically based. Even though it's not, they have to come up with data and information to provide the appearance of having an educated argument. And I think that is very well what could be happening or conspiring in the future, because they always seem to get what they want pertaining to the studies and everything. So even if, other studies conclude the exact opposite.
No, you're exactly right. And I talked about this in one of my videos about back a little ways when you said it's all emotion nowadays.
Right.
And you're exactly right. And that's why I'm always saying, like, facts trump feelings in my video.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I do not, if someone's feelings are hurt, I just don't care, because I'm right.
Right, exactly.
So but I talked a little bit about why I think that some of this is happening, this whole feelings over anything else kind of thing. And a lot of it, I think, is to blame for the school system, especially college.
Right.
I gave a few examples that was my video called "The Problem with My Generation."
Right.
Where I talked about just like college is coddling these kids and offering them safe spaces, and like deans and stuff are doing things. And I mean, when you're being raised, especially by your school, and being told that all that matters are your feelings, you're going to end up with that mindset.
Right. And Hunter, I'm going to be honest with you too with a lot of this stuff, and I'm just going to tell you what I think. I think that, because I've been criticized in the past for saying this, but I think that a lot of this originates the same as a belief. When you are exposed to this new type of feeling, some people go along with it, some people don't. Some people accept it, some people completely reject it. And the way that I think that a lot of this stuff works, pertaining to the whole LGBT issue, is that people are introduced to this, and over a period of time, it's just like an evolution to where they begin to think of that as being personally identifying to themselves, and they begin to experiment with it, and then they begin to like it, and then they begin to embrace this delusion, even if it's a complete rejection of reality, as we see with everything pertaining to the transgender issue and a rejection of biology. It's something that's concerning to me. Yeah,
and I mean all of I'm pretty sure I already said this, but just, yeah, I mean, like the way all of society now is kind of telling them to embrace it. I mean, I know of people who, I mean, not personally, but I can think of at least one story of, I mean, people who think they're gay and then they're actually not gay.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you a lot of stories like that too. Yeah, I mean,
now I might have a little bit of a disagreement with you, in the whole thing, because I tend to believe that gay people are born that way, only because, again, it's just my opinion. I just find it very hard to believe that people in some countries would risk getting murdered for the sake of being in a gay relationship.
Right. And pertaining to that issue in particular with the whole born that way thing, and this is one of the things that I look at it, I don't think that it's that this type of belief or this type of embracement of it, and the reason why I don't, because personally I don't believe that. But I'll tell you why. When you have something that you believe wholeheartedly, that you fully embrace, okay, you will die for it. And I think that a lot of these people, and I'll tell you.
Well, that goes for religion.
It goes for religion too, right? And I'll tell you, because you're a Christian, right, and everything?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not talking to deaf ears here. So, let me give you an example with that in particular. And because the thing that I look at some stuff with all this is that, even in spiritual terms, a lot of times we try to normalize issues that are spiritual, and we try to come up with worldly justifications for that and things like that. And the way that I look at it is there was a verse that I had read that really came out to me, and it said that when you are free from righteousness, you become a slave to sin. Okay? When you're free from righteousness, you become a slave to sin. Well, what happens is that when people begin to experiment or dabble in to sin, it doesn't matter what type of stuff that it is, okay? When they begin to experiment with it and to embrace it, what ends up happening is that they become enslaved by it, as the word says. They become enslaved to this to where they can't break away. And I think that the problem that we run into is that with this issue in particular is that you have a lot of people. Because, I'm going to tell you, my dad's a pastor and everything, and I've ministered, I've talked to a lot of people that practice homosexuality, and they've, actually, they realize, hey, he doesn't hate us. And they've reached out to me, and I've talked to them about all this stuff. And this is my understanding of it with the people who've practiced that I've been able to minister to, is that they have tried time and time again to break away from it, to not be gay, okay? And they can't do it. They can't do it. But the thing is that all of us, regardless of who you are, have an inclination to enact or to act in some sort of sin. Okay, so the sin that I might have difficulty with is not the same that you have. Okay, but the thing is, and that I've seen, is that because they are free from having a relationship with God, because what does the Bible say? It doesn't matter what you are. When you give your heart over to God, you are a new creation. Okay, old things have passed away. Behold, all things become new. You become a new creature in Christ. So, that's one of the things that I look at there. If you reject the person that has the key to unlock the shackle, which is Christ, and you want nothing to do with him, then it doesn't matter how hard you try to stop something, you're not going to be able to do it because it has you enslaved. That's what it means by when it says you're free from righteousness, you're a slave to sin. They try to separate from it, but they can't do it. Because, that's why the Bible talks about deliverance from all this. But, the problem with this is that you and I can talk about this because we're believers in the faith. We're believers in Christianity. But if you don't believe in that, and you don't believe in Christianity, it makes it more difficult to have a discussion with this pertaining to, the whole born that way thing, the not born that way thing.
It's kind of hard to even, without, if you completely take religion out of the picture, there's really no, I could ask you what makes being gay wrong without religion being involved. And there's really no answer, I guess you could give.
Well, see, Hunter, we're told that by a lot of people that there aren't any secular reasons to be in opposition to that. But I'll tell you, there are. And we're coming up on a hard commercial break, but I definitely want to get to that when we return, because it's something that a lot of people don't know much about. It's not used that often. So, all right, we're coming up on another break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Hunter after this.
Caiden Cowger. Keeping America straight.
You're listening to Caiden Cowger on the WCNR News Network.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
It safely eliminates stress and anxiety. It makes commuting, driving your kids around, or driving a truck more fun. It makes gift shopping easier. It's Happy Driving Stress Reduction, a revolutionary patent-pending tool that works while you drive. Find Happy Driving Stress Reduction on iTunes, Amazon, or Google Play. Make life easier. Buy Happy Driving Stress Reduction today.
You always want to look your best, but you don't always have time to deal with a necktie that won't cooperate. That's where we come in. Introducing the Never Tie, the only necktie that you never have to tie. Each Never Tie comes with a tie and 2 removable knots that you simply slide on and adjust for your comfort, giving you the perfect look every time. Choose from over 20 stylish designs at thenevertie.com. Enter promo code RADIO1 for discount.
Go get your copy of Prelude to World War III, The Rise of Islamic Republic and the Rebirth of America. World War III Series Volume 1, available in paperback and Kindle edition on Amazon by the authors James Rozone and Miranda Watson. By the 2020s, America was no longer a world superpower. The military had been cut to a bare-bones level, and while the U.S. was focused internally, the door opened for new powers to emerge on the world stage. In the wake of this power vacuum, China.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas.
For your free inventor's information, call 1-800-441-7922. That's 1-800-441-7922.
Goldman Sachs and HSBC recently purchased 7.1 tons of physical gold. What do these bankers and mega money managers know that you don't? They're expecting the value of gold and silver to increase. That's why you need our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group offers gold and silver for direct delivery and will not be undersold. Call now. Call 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group is a company that deals with investing in precious metals such as gold and silver. They've been in business for over a decade and have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They've been featured on Fox News, Market Watch, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Reuters, Fox Business, Financial Times, and Forbes magazine. If you're interested, you can call at 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. They also offer various ebooks on investing in gold, such as the Definitive Gold Guide. So once again, if you're interested, you can call 1-800-932-4108. That's 1-800-932-4108. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends at the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja is a company that specializes in slashing debt. They deal with various debt problems such as tax debt, debt settlement, debt consolidation, student loan debt, credit repair services, and bankruptcy. That is 1-800-826-1132. Now, their company, the Debt Ninja, operates on a national level and have worked to fight the IRS for many of their clients. If you're interested, you can call at 1-800-826-1132. That is 1-800-826-1132. Once again, that is 1-800-826-1132. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, American Auto Protection has announced an extended service plan that is now available to the general public. This plan reduces the cost of auto repair expenses. Maximum Car Care was created to assist qualifying car owners with lowering repair bills of cars under 130,000 miles and under 12 years old. Maximum Car Care works to limit the expense of auto repair bills, roadside assistance, rental coverage, and towing. Their number is 1-800-824-9762. That is 1-800-824-9762. Once again, that is 1-800-824-9762. Maximum Car Care is a proud sponsor of the Caiden Cowger program.
You're listening to the WCNR News Network, where America comes to talk.
Caiden Cowger.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here with Hunter Avalone.
Somebody had to say it.
Pertaining to that in particular. Because, Hunter, this is one of the things that I've found out. Because, I mean, I've been, especially with this stuff, I've been bashed on it time and time again. But I'll tell you this. Pertaining to how can you or how can you have an opinion against it without bringing religion into the picture? Because they always, result to, well, you're just a Bible thumper. And Hunter, I want to tell you this. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, 9 and 10 talks about everything that the Bible defines as being sinful, that God defines as being sinful. And, I was researching this one day, and I was thinking, how can I even have an argument about this from a secular position if, the only thing that I'm, looking at here is what the Bible says? And it came to me. Why does God not want us to sin? Why does God tell us not to do something? It's because in the long run, it's going to have a negative impact on us. It's going to have, it's going to hurt us. So what that means is that it doesn't matter, if you're practicing that or not. God loves you, but he doesn't want you to engage in sinful behavior because it's going to bring harm unto you. So I began looking at research that came up pertaining to this specific thing. And this was a study that came from the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, government organization, and is under the Obama administration. 1 out of 473 heterosexual men will develop HIV. Okay? What do you think that number is for male homosexuals?
I assume a lot higher.
1 out of 6.
Oh, wow.
1 out of 473 compared to 1 out of 6. So then I look at the depression rates on this, and I begin thinking, okay, well, why are the depression rates so high among, members of the LGBT community? Because I then, because of course they then throw the remarks at you. I've dealt with the liberals on this a lot, but they throw the remarks at you. Okay, it's because of people like you who are hateful, who are bigoted, who are this, who are that. They hurl everything at you, and you're oppressing them. You're causing them emotional pain. So I'm thinking about this. Okay. What about black people? Okay, black people in this nation, they had the Ku Klux Klan created solely to oppress black people. Okay, why were the suicide rates among black people so low during this, the civil rights era? If we're going to blame this on oppression,
exactly,
and that's one of the things.
No, I've heard that argument. It's an excellent one
because that's one of the things that I've thought about here. So then we get to what is the result of this? They don't have any type of other than personal testimony of people who say that they can't break away from it. They don't have any form of gay gene that they have discovered. That's non-existent. We go to their, type of mentality to where they've said that it's a hormonal imbalance. Okay. They say that, the body, the more boys that you have, the more of a chance that your bodies are attacked with antibodies, so that basically, feminizes the fetus. Okay. And I'm thinking, okay, well, then wouldn't there just be a simple type of hormonal supplement that you can take to make you straight? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's true. So the hormonal argument's out. So then we get to, what about if we're going to say that there's a gay gene, why can you have, Jason Collins, the first openly gay basketball player? Okay, he has a twin, identical twin, that's straight. They both have the same genes, the same DNA. How is one straight and one gay? Okay, no gay gene. So, we go, and
exactly.
they haven't even discovered it. It's this whole rejection of reality that I'm talking to you about that was caused from influences. So yeah, Hunter, so go ahead and tell everybody how they can keep in touch with you and all that, because you can't give them the Twitter handle anymore, unfortunately. But.
Yeah, unfortunately. I also, just to let you know, to wrap this up with the whole Twitter thing, I did actually email back to Twitter this time and pretty much demand they look back into my account, my recent one, since I'd done nothing wrong. So I'm hoping to get some response from them out of that. So I'm waiting for now. But
good.
Yeah, you guys can find me by just searching on YouTube Hunter Avalone. If you type in Hunter A, it'll be the first result to come up. And then Instagram, same thing, Hunter Avalone. Snapchat, just my name, Hunter Avalone. It's spelled Avallone. So, yep.
All right, sounds good. Well, Hunter, thank you so much for coming on. It was a great discussion. Enjoyed having you. And
I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome on anytime.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. May God bless you, and God bless America.